Have you ever felt like someone in your life thrives on control, feeds on your emotions, and crumbles the moment you stop playing their game? Narcissists want you to believe they are invincible, untouchable, superior, and always in control. But here's the truth. Their entire identity is built on a fragile illusion. And when that illusion cracks, their worst fears come rushing in like a tidal wave. Today, we're exposing 7 things that send narcissists into a spiral of fear and panic. These aren't just tactics to deal with them. They are the keys to reclaiming your power, your peace, and your independence. And if you're someone who values the Stoic mindset, self-mastery, resilience, and living with purpose, then this is your wake-up call. It's time to break free from their grip and step into the life you were meant to live. Let's dive in. 1. Realizing they are not the center of your world. A narcissist craves one thing above all else: significance. They thrive on the idea that they are the sun and everyone around them is merely orbiting in their gravitational pull. To them, your purpose is to admire, validate, and reinforce their self-importance. As long as you play that role, chasing after them, seeking their approval, hanging on their every word, they remain in control. But what happens when you stop? What happens when you don't react to their provocations? When their grand stories no longer impress you? When their absence doesn't affect you in the slightest? This is where the real panic sets in. Because for a narcissist, it's not just about losing attention. It's about losing their very identity. You see, their sense of self is not built from within. It's a hollow shell that requires constant reinforcement from the outside world. They don't truly believe in their superiority. They need others to reflect it back at them. But when you remove yourself from their audience, when you stop feeding their ego, you strip away the only thing holding their fragile self-pity together. And that terrifies them. Imagine this. They call and you don't answer. They send a message and hours, maybe days go by before you respond, if you even respond at all. They expect you to react with excitement, anger, desperation, but instead you remain calm, detached, indifferent. Suddenly they are faced with the horrifying truth. They are not as important as they thought. This is why narcissists go to extreme lengths to maintain their control. They will provoke you, bait you, push your buttons. Because any reaction, even a negative one, is better than being ignored. But when you embrace true emotional detachment, when you stop allowing them to dictate your emotions, their grip on you shatters. This is where Stoicism comes in. The Stoic philosophy teaches us to master ourselves, to detach from external validation, and to find strength in our own sense of self. And this is exactly what narcissists fear, a person who no longer needs their approval, their attention, or their presence. The ultimate power move: absolute indifference. Not anger, not revenge, just pure, unwavering disinterest. Because when you stop seeing them as essential, they are left with nothing but their own emptiness. And for a narcissist, that is the most terrifying reality of all. 2. When you break free from their script and write your own. To a narcissist, people are not individuals with thoughts, emotions, and evolving identities. They are characters, assigned fixed roles in a script that serves the narcissist's desires. From the moment they bring you into their world, they label you. Maybe you're the admirer, the one who constantly validates their worth. Maybe you're the caretaker, the one who puts their needs first. Or perhaps you're the scapegoat, the one who absorbs their blame when things go wrong. Regardless of the role they give you, there is one unspoken rule: you must never step outside of it. Narcissists have a rigid black and white view of the world. They don't see complexity, they see control. They expect you to behave in predictable ways, always reinforcing their self-P mode. When you follow the script, they feel secure, but the moment you deviate, when you grow, when you change, when you assert yourself, their sense of control begins to slip, and that terrifies them. Imagine they have always seen you as the dependent one, the person who needs their guidance and approval. But one day you stop asking for permission, you begin making decisions on your own, You develop confidence and independence. In their mind, this is not just personal growth, it is an act of betrayal. Because in their world, your existence only makes sense if it revolves around them. Or maybe they have cast you as passive and compliant, someone who never pushes back. But suddenly, you set boundaries. You say no. Not with anger, not with drama, but with quiet certainty. They challenge you. You remain firm. And in that moment, they realize their influence over you is fading. This is why narcissists react so strongly when you act outside of their expectations. They panic. They lash out. They tell you you've changed. They claim to know you better than you know yourself. They insist you're making a mistake. What they are really saying is, stop breaking the illusion, get back into the role I created for you. But Stoicism teaches something entirely different. Unlike narcissists who try to define others, Stoics focus only on defining themselves. A narcissist's power over you relies on your willingness to accept their version of reality. But when you adopt a Stoic mindset, you step outside of their control. You recognize that no one, not even someone who claims to know you intimately, has the right to dictate who you are. The moment you stop seeking their approval, stop defending yourself against their false narratives, and simply live on your own terms, they lose the ability to manipulate you. You are no longer bound by their labels or limited by their expectations. You no longer argue, justify, or explain. You simply exist as you are. Three, when you turn the tables and discard them first. A narcissist's relationships always follow a predictable cycle: idealization, devaluation, and discard. In the beginning, they put you on a pedestal, showering you with admiration to draw you in. But once they feel secure in their control, they begin to chip away at your confidence, eroding your self-worth so that you remain dependent on them. And then, when they have extracted everything they can from you, your energy, your devotion, your emotional investment, they discard you. They walk away as if you never mattered. This is the game they play. But nothing terrifies them more than when you flip the script and discard them first. When a narcissist is in control, they set the timeline. They decide when the relationship ends, ensuring they remain in a position of power. If you leave before they are ready, if you remove yourself from their grasp before they can discard you, it shatters their illusion of superiority. They are not the one rejecting, they are the one being rejected, and that is something their ego cannot tolerate. At first, they may try to lure you back. They might suddenly shower you with affection again, promising change, offering apologies that seem heartfelt. But this is not love, it is desperation. It is their need to restore the power dynamic. If that doesn't work, they shift tactics. They may lash out, insult you, spread lies, or try to make you doubt yourself. Anything to make you feel like you were wrong for leaving. But this is where Stoicism becomes your greatest shield. The Stoic does not seek revenge or react out of emotion. The Stoic remains steady, indifferent, unmoved by the narcissist's attempts to regain control. You do not engage, you do not explain, you do not justify. You simply walk away, without anger, without fear, without hesitation. This is what narcissists fear the most: complete irrelevance. They want to believe they are unforgettable, that they leave an imprint on everyone they meet. But when you discard them and move on without a second thought, it forces them to face a reality they cannot accept: that they were never as important as they believed. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever been in a relationship, romantic, family, or professional, where you had to walk away from a narcissist before they could discard you? How did they react? Share your story in the comments below. Your experience might help someone else recognize the signs and find the strength to leave. 4. When you expose their lies and incompetence. The narcissist survives by creating an illusion, a carefully crafted image of superiority, intelligence, and control. They present themselves as the expert, the authority, the one who knows more, does more, and is always right. But beneath that carefully polished facade lies something fragile: insecurity, ignorance, and fear of exposure. Nothing terrifies them more than being unmasked for who they truly are. This is why narcissists react with fury when they are caught in a lie or when their lack of knowledge is exposed. They do not seek truth, they seek dominance. Their version of reality is not built on facts, but on manipulation. When you challenge their false narratives, not with anger, not with emotion, but with quiet certainty and undeniable evidence, you shake the foundation of their illusion. Imagine they have positioned themselves as an expert in a particular field, someone who commands respect through their knowledge. But then, in a moment of arrogance, they make a claim that is demonstrably false. Instead of confronting them aggressively, you simply bring up verifiable facts that contradict them. You do not attack them, you do not argue, you simply let the truth stand on its own. To a narcissist, this is intolerable. Their image is everything, and when it is threatened, they panic. Or perhaps they have woven a narrative about themselves, an exaggerated version of their past, their achievements, their talents. But over time, inconsistencies begin to surface. Others start noticing the contradictions, and worst of all, you no longer believe the myth they have created. The moment you stop feeding their delusion, they feel exposed, vulnerable, and powerless. This is where Stoicism becomes an invaluable tool. Marcus Aurelius once said, "If anyone can refute me, show me I'm making a mistake or looking at things from the wrong perspective, I'll gladly change. It's the truth I'm after, and the truth never harmed anyone." This is the fundamental difference between a Stoic and a narcissist. A Stoic seeks truth even when it is uncomfortable, even when it challenges their ego. A narcissist, however, seeks only validation and control. When you embrace Stoicism, you recognize that truth does not need to be shouted, it simply needs to be seen. You do not need to engage in emotional battles, nor do you need to prove yourself to a narcissist. You simply stand firm in what you know to be true, and in doing so, you strip them of the one thing they cannot live without: the illusion of superiority. Five. When you stop feeding their ego and render them insignificant, a narcissist survives on attention. It is their lifeblood, their fuel, their oxygen. Whether the attention is positive, admiration, validation, praise, or negative, anger, frustration, tears, it does not matter. What matters is that they remain the central figure in your mind. As long as you react, as long as you engage, as long as they occupy space in your thoughts, they hold power over you. But when you withdraw that attention, when you stop feeding their ego entirely, you do something that truly terrifies them. You make them insignificant. Narcissists do not need love. They do not need respect. What they need is significance, the assurance that they are special, unique, irreplaceable. Even if your relationship with them was full of conflict, even if you despised them, that still gave them importance. They were still occupying emotional real estate in your mind. But what happens when they no longer matter to you at all? That is their greatest nightmare. Imagine they try to provoke you, perhaps with insults, manipulation, or guilt-tripping. But instead of reacting, you simply do not care. You do not fight, you do not explain, you do not defend yourself, you do not give them the emotional response they crave. They escalate, pushing harder, becoming more desperate, trying every tactic to re-establish their control. But still, you remain unbothered. This is when the narcissist begins to unravel. This is why going no contact is one of the most powerful strategies against a narcissist. When you cut them off entirely, not just physically but emotionally, they are forced to confront something they cannot handle, their own irrelevance. They lose control not because you attacked them, but because you simply stopped acknowledging them. This principle aligns deeply with Stoicism. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "If a person gave your body to a stranger to abuse, you would be indignant. But you hand over your mind to anyone who insults you, and allow it to be troubled and confused, aren't you ashamed of that? The Stoic does not allow others to control their emotions. They do not react simply because someone demands a reaction. They choose where to place their attention, and they refuse to waste it on those who do not deserve it. This is the essence of true power, not in confrontation, not in proving a point, but in detachment. A narcissist craves significance. They want to believe they have left an impact, that they are unforgettable. But when you detach, when you move on, when you stop reacting, they are left with nothing but themselves. And for a narcissist, being forgotten is worse than being hated. Six, when you rebuild your life and leave them behind. A narcissist thrives on control, not just over your emotions, but over your sense of self. Their goal is to make you doubt your worth, to erode your confidence, and to ensure that even if you physically leave, you remain psychologically tethered to them. They want you looking back, questioning yourself, and feeling lost without them. But the moment you begin to rebuild, when you heal, when you move forward, when you find happiness without them, that is when their worst fear becomes reality. You prove that they were never as essential as they wanted you to believe. For a narcissist, nothing is more intolerable than being replaced, outgrown, or forgotten. They want to be the center of your universe forever, even if they are no longer present in your life. If they see you thriving, growing in confidence, forming new relationships, pursuing your goals without hesitation, it delivers a message they cannot handle. They were never your source of strength. At first, they may attempt to pull you back. They might resurface, pretending to have changed, offering apologies, or even trying to sabotage your progress. But a narcissist does not truly want reconciliation. They want proof that they still matter. If they cannot reclaim you, they will seek to destroy the life you are building, because your success is a direct contradiction to the illusion they have constructed about themselves. This is where Stoicism provides an unshakable foundation. Seneca once wrote, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." The narcissist wants you trapped in the past, locked in an emotional battle that keeps them relevant. But the greatest act of defiance is to simply move forward, unbothered, unshaken, and unattached. To a narcissist, their worst nightmare is not your hatred, it is your indifference. It is seeing you not just survive, but thrive. When you stop looking back, when you stop explaining yourself, when you stop needing closure, they become irrelevant. And in the mind of a narcissist, irrelevance is the ultimate defeat. Seven, when you become completely independent, mind, body, and spirit. A narcissist's ultimate goal is to create dependence. They want you to rely on them emotionally, mentally, and sometimes even financially. Their power comes from making you feel like you cannot function without them, that you need their validation, their guidance, their presence. They condition you to believe that they are the foundation upon which your life is built. But nothing terrifies them more than when you break free. Not just physically, not just emotionally, but completely. When you no longer seek their approval, when their words no longer affect your decisions, when you become truly self-sufficient in every aspect of your life, you destroy the illusion they worked so hard to create. A narcissist thrives on controlling how you see yourself. If they made you believe you were weak, your independence proves them wrong. If they made you believe you were unlovable, your ability to build meaningful relationships without them shatters their narrative. If they convinced you that your worth depended on them, your success outside of their influence is a direct contradiction to their lies. They may try to regain control, perhaps by suddenly offering kindness, by attempting to re-enter your life under the guise of friendship, or by finding new ways to undermine your confidence from a distance. But none of it works when you no longer need anything from them. This is the true power of Stoicism. The Stoic philosopher Musonius Rufus once said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." True freedom does not come from escaping a narcissist. It comes from mastering your own mind, your own emotions, your own sense of self. When you reach this point, they no longer have any hold on you. A narcissist's greatest fear is a person they can no longer manipulate. When you stand firm in who you are, when you are grounded in your own values, when you no longer require validation from anyone but yourself, you become untouchable, and for them, that is the ultimate defeat. The greatest victory over a narcissist is not in fighting them, not in proving them wrong, not in seeking revenge. The greatest victory is in rising above them, reclaiming your mind, your peace, and your power. Narcissists want you to stay trapped in their world, bound by their manipulation, their narratives, and their control. But the moment you break free, truly free, you become something they cannot understand, something they cannot reach, a person who no longer needs them. The truth is, their power was never real. It only existed because you allowed it, because you believed in their illusion, because you gave them significance. But now you know better. Now you understand that you are, and always have been, enough. Without them, beyond them, and that is what terrifies them the most. As the Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Your strength has never been in their hands. It has always been within you. The moment you stop fighting for their approval, the moment you stop justifying, explaining, or proving yourself, you step into a power far greater than anything they ever had over you. So move forward, not with anger, not with bitterness, but with clarity and self-mastery. You do not need to destroy them. You do not need to look back. You only need to become the person they never wanted you to be, independent, strong, and completely free. Because in the end, the best revenge is simply this: a life well lived.